Those against in here, the eyes have it.
Our journey has been steady from the advent. With crystal clear vision, we started off as a news online portal. We subsequently evolved into a magazine, and now on your radio. We do not only bear the name Media House. We practice with the best ethos of our professional calling, presenting facts with objectivity. We are committed and resolute. We are HallowMace. We are the standard bearers. It's HallowMace on radio, dedicated to promotion of legislature, democracy, and good governance. It's hot, interactive, educating, engaging, and entertaining. HallowMace on radio, Thursdays, 10 a.m. on Armed Forces Radio, 107.7 FM. HallowMace on radio, Parliament, brought to the people. Brought to the people.
Beautiful morning to you, cousin. Thank you for joining us on yet another interesting edition of HallowMace on radio. My name is Bob Genesis, the Gospel Touch, your cousin on radio. I would be your anchor on this edition, and I'm glad that you have always been part of what we do on HallowMace on radio. Today's discourse is on the electronic transmission of results as passed by the Senate. As a matter of fact, last week, I knew how we held conversations on this one. And someone would want to say, maybe they finally listened to us. But then there are perspectives to be handled and have clarifications. Lucky for us this morning, we have with us on the dial, Comrade Ezenwa Nwangwu. He is the Executive Director of PACA. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Indeed.
Fantastic job HallowMace has been doing.
Absolutely. We appreciate. Now, look at what happens, cousin. For years, Nigerians have demanded transparency in elections. Electronic transmission has been seen as a tool to reduce manipulation, speed up collation, and strengthen credibility. So on the surface, the passage by the Nigerian Senate appears to be a step forward. But here is the question. What does a proviso mean for our democracy? A proviso introduces conditions. It suggests that electronic transmission is not absolute, but subject to certain approvals or circumstances. Critics argue that attaching conditions may weaken the reform and leave room for political interference. Supporters, however, insist that safeguards are necessary to address technical, security, and infrastructural realities across the country. So, the question is this a setback or is a cautious, pragmatic improvement? So as you join us on this edition of HallowMace on radio, produced by my Executive Director, Ambassador Anderson Osabe, you would be able to have your own take as we make clarifications going forward. I love that as it stands, we're already talking as a people, and we tell you this is the People's Parliament. Whatever it is that your contributions are, in the course of the program, we'll open the phone lines for you. But I'd like to start up with my guest in the building, Comrade Ezenwa Nwangwu. From a civil society perspective, is the proviso now that I'm considering, does this proviso strengthen or dilute electoral reform?
I don't like to say from the civil society perspective.
Okay.
There's no trade union called civil society.
All right.
Different organizations come with their perspective. So when you want to bond it as a category, there are civil society groups who are working on health, who are working on aviation and stuff like that.
Correct.
So the conversation will be a Nigerian conversation. And I think the trust always should be about finding pathways to electoral transparency and integrity, and creating an environment that can enable participation. So when we outsource conversations to civil society, media, we create personality cults.
I understand.
And then remove, and then we become a dictatorship ourselves. You know, in some sense, we turn ourselves to a dictatorship. What we want as civil society.
I should not understand that.
You understand?
Yes,
so, and I'm very interested in making sure that we have a conversation that is mirroring solutions. How do we... Now, the treadmill of lawmaking is going on. I am excited about the citizen oversight.
Oh, cousin.
Citizen oversight in lawmaking, in governance. But you see, all this that you are seeing is a failure, is a reflection of a failure of the internal mechanisms that can harvest civil society, that can harvest citizen voices, into lawmaking. Right. Number one, there is a sense in which you should have public hearing. But public hearing has been restricted by insecurity. So access to the National Assembly is restricted. So many times, and then even when you get there, they give you 2 minutes, 1 minute, and then ask you to bring a document that nobody is looking at. Number two is that what you call constituency offices of the legislators and the senators are not functional in the main. If you go to the places they call their constituency offices, which should be mini centers of public hearing, those mini centers are ineffective because you get there, what you see is a building, a big signboard, one table and a chair that there's nobody in. So even to harvest citizen input into lawmaking is. And then finally, is the deliberate intention to ensure that there is no electronic voting in the National Assembly. So if Cousin Genesis, as you call yourself,
yes,
if you voted X, I should be able to know through that data. A system that is incapable of making their own system electronic is where we are going to ask them to give us. So that's a foundational. Then on the question that you are asking.
Yes, because the provision.
I want to look at, I don't like to see them against us.
Okay.
And I say that because in the Senate alone, the ruling party is about 70-something. The opposition balances the rest. So there are opposition voices in those places. And I don't think that all the members of the opposition party go in one direction. Because in the maternity ward of the politicians, there are no virgins. Everybody is looking for dubious advantage. So forget what they say outside. So what is the input? What was the fight? What do Nigerians want? Or some Nigerians want? Because we also have to be nuanced. Because sometimes we make our voice get louder than, the majority of the people who don't have access to Armed Forces Radio, who don't have the privilege of being invited by HallowMace. So we subsume their voices. What is the issue? I think that we leapfrogged a bit.
Okay.
What is the leapfrog? Now, the desire of litigants have been met. Litigants want you to have it in the law. Now it has been put in the law, and that is fundamental. So now it is in the law, e-transmission. That is not to say that it was not there.
Yeah, all this while.
Now it is in the INEC guideline. Now it's been embedded into the Electoral Act. So litigants can now have some breather that when they go to court, that the court will no longer just dismiss. But Cousin Genesis,
yes,
our election, broadly speaking, is manual.
It's well with us.
How is it manual? We do accreditation and voting. Our votes are sorted manually, counted manually, collated manually. announced manually, and then entered into a Form EC8A, handwritten manually. Copy is given to party agent, party is given to security, and then it is uploaded into the INEC result viewing portal. So I hope we understand this process. So when we talk about e-transmission, we are saying that upload into this thing, the argument is that people said it should be done real time.
Not waiting after how many hours.
But now, if you also discountenance the fact, which is my position, and I don't know whether it's popular,
okay,
is that there are backwater communities in Nigeria. The pretension about internet penetration being 90-something% for me is hollow, because that 90-something% is mostly in the urban areas. In my house alone,
yes, God,
there are about nine subscribers. So when you are counting that million,
yes, cousin,
90 million, 95 million subscribers everywhere, 4G, 3G, 2G.
yeah,
Understand that there are people who have bowls of SIM cards.
yes, God.
When they call you, they remove
The SIM card
and put another one. You will never get them on that line again. So these other places where internet penetration is low or non-existent must be accommodated.
Okay. Now, look at what I'm looking out for. You see, you speak elaborately, and a cousin who is listening to us would want to have a clearer perspective of your position, because it looks as if the language of the e-transmission of result is now popular. Nigerians like that. But some people are concerned about the proviso that they already introduced when the Senate talks. So I wanted to have us...
You cannot run an election without proviso.
Okay.
You can't run election if it is election that we are talking about.
Yes, cousin.
If in this office...
But will it not be manipulated?
Everything is open to manipulation.
Okay.
There is the Nigerian politician is a master in studying how to manipulate.
Cousin.
Don't pretend about that. But what is the thing? You have to give the regulator power. And when the regulator breaches those responsibilities, it has to be sanctioned.
All right.
So the challenge we have is not discretion.
Okay.
The challenge we have is consequence management and punishment for dubious or criminal use of discretion.
Okay. Now, cousin, I don't know.
Have you got my position?
Very clear, very clear. It's just that I'm thinking that a cousin who is listening to us might also want to come through with some questions following up on this development we're having on the platform of HallowMace on radio today. 0707-242-6258 is the number I will release for you to be part of live radio conversation. Again, 0707-242-6258. I take those numbers slow and steady because I would like to hear from you. Comrade Ezenwa will also want to hear from you what your own position is as regards to the latest development as we look out 2027 in less than 323 days. 0707-242-6258. While we're on it, one of the guests that I thought will not join is already here with us live on radio broadcast, and I'm glad that he would be with us on the conversations. But this is quickly before he comes on. I suppose that you would want to talk to the issues of free, fair, credible elections. We've had elections in Nigeria for the longest time. Some cousin will say, why am I saying longest? A child who was born in 1999 possibly is done with the university and serving somewhere now. Someone is calling. Let me see, producer. I take the caller and then get back to what I've got on my mind to come through it. Please turn it down.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Help us turn it down completely. Your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Mr. Ejike. I'm calling from Taris.
Ejike, talk to us in 60 seconds, please.
Okay, sir. My question is to Mr. Ezenwa.
The comrade.
It's just very simple.
All right.
The comrade, yes. And my question is the new law that they passed now is that the electronic transmission of result and the manual.
Yes, cousin.
Is it that both of them is going to be recognized by law? Because I remember the Supreme Court judgment which said that in the other election that Atiku and Peter Obi went to court, the Supreme Court did not recognize anything. The result they transfer to RIF. So this time around now, is it that both the manual coalition and what the result they transfer, that from CTA that they transfer to the electronic, is it that the team must be tallied for either to not decide who is the winner? You understand?
Yes,
because you cannot have different results in RIF and what INEC collated through manually will be different. So if the lawmaker did it in such a way that before they announce the winner of the territorial election of governorship or presidential, so the both results of year and year must be tallied. And this method they are even saying that they should transfer. Yeah, I'm thinking that when you snap the from ECA to the papers and you send, for instance, you know, at times it's in my hand because there's no network coverage in that location. But as those presiding officers are moving their material to like a local government coalition center where we know that in all these 704 local government in Nigeria, we have network.
Now look
so
at what...
the thing will not drop. Okay. You know, as they are moving closer to where the robust network, the thing will not drop into the RIF. Even before the second day, which is on Sunday that we do.
See results announced.
You understand?
All right.
Not like, if nobody send me SMS now into my phone, at times if I'm in the location where there's no network, the thing might not drop. But as soon as I move into areas where there's network, you will start into my WhatsApp and my and normal SMS this thing.
All right.
I don't know what I'm getting.
Thank you.
So I want to ask whether the coalition of results and that of the one inside the RIF is going to be the same before either we announce.
All right.
That is my question.
Thank you, cousin. I had to allow you, my producer. I said 60 seconds, but you had to go on, and I appreciate my producer for that timing. Comrade, I don't know, you would need to react to him. He needs to understand if the result that will be transmitted electronically must be the same with the manual. From what he is asking.
Well, don't use must.
Okay.
This.
Okay.
You see that?
I love
those are dictatorial languages.
Okay.
Must. You
Okay.
know, you are dealing with a sociological situation, so you can't say must.
All right.
So the challenge here is that people don't understand that there are 9 in any election. You might have about 9 political parties contesting. Now, when you come to collation, if 8 political parties have the same from EC8A results,
Yes, course.
and one party has a different result, the presiding officer will lean on the side of the 8. He does not need to go to any IREV.
Okay.
IREV is a repository of votes, television, viewing portal.
Yes, course.
So, except there is dispute, you do not go. It's not now automatic that every result you go to IREV.
Okay.
The weak link here that Nigerians need to pay attention to is the indolence and irresponsibility of the political parties, their agents and their candidates that do not have party agents. And when they do have, they have transactional party agents who are not members of their party. Immediately election is over, they take the form EC8 and go away. There is no organic relationship between them. So you see people come to collation empty-handed and hold on, and doing agitation, asking the collation officer to go to IREV. You were participant in an election. We cannot take away paper trail. No country relies solely on technology, not anywhere. Not America, not Germany, not Japan.
Now, I appreciate that. I just would wish to bring in Dr. Dominic Alancha. Thank you for coming through. What happened, actually? You came in behind time, but we're glad to have you. You have listened to the Comrade, and Comrade has been very deliberate, Ezenwa, Nwangwu, because at some point I was thinking that he would want to clap for the electronic transmission of result, but he's having a perspective that you cannot rely solely on that. I don't know if you share the same opinion with him or you're differing from what he said.
Absolutely. I share the same opinion with him because, like he rightly said, you cannot depend solely on, technology because they also failed. And like he said, the IREF is for a reference purpose. Okay, it's for a reference purpose. There must be manual, or there should be, say we shouldn't use the word must. There will be manual collation of results. And when you collate these things manually and there are arguments or discrepancies, you make reference to the IREF. And for me, I think we are really missing the point.
Okay.
Because our elections, there are processes that lead to that election. I asked somebody, I said, does the election, the integrity of an election depends solely on the electronic transmission of the results? What are you doing about logistics? What are you doing about security? What are you saying about, accreditations? What are you saying about, the attitude of some of the agents, vote buying and all of that? We should look at it holistically. And for me, my take-up in issue, and I still stand on it, is that, we do not have the capacity to do electronic transmission because you know why? We are not voting electronically. Then how will you expect us to do electronic coalition? Transmission of results when we don't even vote electronically? Because the ideas Nigerians are having, which I will appeal to my boss here, the Comrade Ezenwa, to enlighten Nigerians, because he's a veteran on elections. Some of us, we learned from we drank from the well of wisdom in them, in pushing for some of those reforms. You cannot talk about these reforms without mentioning the likes of Ezenwa. So they should enlighten Nigerians. Nigerians in the street out there are thinking that the moment they cast their vote will hit somewhere and they will be seeing it in their room, how it is being displayed. If your vote came in as 1 million vote, his one is coming as 1 million vote and stuff like that. That is the mentality most Nigerians have. But the transmission they are talking about here, if I understand it very well, is just to snap the form EC8A, whether EC8A, B, A or B, and then upload it to the IREF. So Nigerians should understand that we should concentrate on having, the processes, a sound process that will give us sound election, credible election, not just the transmission of those results that they are talking about.
So I appreciate you, Dr. Dominic Alancha. You are giving the Comrade some work to do on radio this morning. As a matter of fact, the sophistication at which you are educating is making me feel, can a layman who is doing bike now have an understanding clearer? So you might need to come down to the level of my cousin who is possibly thinking, because the way Nigerians were talking when the Senate did not approve of the e-transmission earlier, and then they kept talking about it until the most recent that we have what we have now and we're talking to it. Please help us make sense of what normally happens, because for us, with what you have said on radio, one would want to say that you don't trust the process as far as Nigerian elections are concerned, because you've spoken with the understanding that manipulations will always happen. So how do we call an election free, credible, and fair, even when you are seeing perspective that you think, no?
It's skill. You are talking about skill.
Cousin?
Anything you are talking about is skill. Okay?
Yes,
if there is violence in AYA,
yeah, cousin.
If there is violence in AYA on election day, and there is the polling unit in where Armed Forces Radio is situated.
Yes, course.
And in Wuse too, people don't know that there was violence in AYA. The media will say violence, mass. So when they say violence, mass, so and so election, it is only somebody who is invested in the process that will say where.
Yeah.
What is the scale? Is it possible that people who are fighting in AYA were fighting over debt and not something that has to do with the elections? So these things are there. The reason I say what I say is the foundation of election, first election, is, I'm going to come to what Dr. Alancha said.
All right.
But the first foundation of election is the party primaries. The party primaries is the most important election. If people sell their houses, get into debt to pay delegates to become very desperate. Am I correct?
Very.
So when you put regulations, their desperation leads them to want to subvert that process so that they can win. Is that not correct? So when I say because the foundation of our electoral process has not been sanitized, we are discussing electoral reform. We are not discussing political reforms, and that's not a conversation for today. So, but for the question that you asked, Dr. Alancha, we can do e-transmission of results. We are already doing it. It is not a new thing. When you upload something into server, if you like, call it transfer. If you like, call it upload. If you like, call it transmission. You are uploading it into an electronic device. Are we together now?
Very well.
So that is going on. Now, when I started, I don't know whether he listened to me. We are agitating for people who want to go to court so that I don't use litigants. Supreme Court said, this is in the INEC guideline. And jurisprudentially, that is, I'm not a lawyer, but that is even not correct because the INEC guidelines derives from the Constitution. The National Assembly donates its power to organizations like INEC and other to make rules. So when you go and make a rule and say is that rules made by INEC is not, in the Constitution, I even with my layman, I don't understand what that means. But basically speaking, we have satisfied that. Now, the new agitation, the frontier of edification is whether you should put everything in the law. If you say the result in the polling unit must match with what is in the IREV, you are now talking about collation. But if you go to collation, the returning officer does not go to IREV automatically, except there is a dispute. Can we underline that? So if no party is complaining,
nobody considers what is happening in the IREV.
No, why should you go to IREV, which is an auditor?
Yes,
the IREV is an auditor. It audits what has happened at the polling unit. If nobody complains, why do you want to go to the IREV? And I'm saying that even now when you want to complain, let it be evidence-based. Let it not be what we saw in 2023, where party collation agents will come empty-handed. I don't know how much I can. They come without any document.
But why was that though?
It is grandstanding. It is covering the laziness of the political parties in not really building party agency. And up to today, we are refusing to go to that place. A lot of people, throw this excitement into electronic transmission without knowing that if the party agents are compromised at the polling unit, if they are transactional and they don't have any organic link to the political party, as we know today, I have seen people who came as party agents for a political party in the morning, and by afternoon, they have become agents for another political party in the same venue.
What the country, cousin?
I have seen people where manipulation is taking place, and as an observer, I'm asking questions, which I shouldn't ordinarily. I'm saying, what are you people doing? And they say, oh, God, we agree. Oh, God, we agree. Cousin. So when you have traded that opportunity, the collation officer of the collation agent of the party does not have anything from his polling unit. So he comes to the collation center, he sees journalists, and say the results have been manipulated, journalists will journalists will not say, where is the Form EC8A from your party? So the point, let me make that point.
Yes,
and then the people they appoint as their supervisors, when they see them roving supervisors of the political parties, when they come, if it is in this part of the country, they say, Anka Kudin.
That means, have they brought the money?
Anka Kudin.
Cousin, have you eaten?
Once he asks that question, he takes off, goes to the next point. He does not understand that his work. And why wouldn't political parties have their own IREV?
Now, I'm loving what is happening on live radio now, cousin. I would take a bill payment and get back on the mic, because at this point, I feel that Comrade Ezenwa will be doing some sensitization. I like if it's possible for us to sanitize the system. But someone would say, in how many minutes will you have that conversation done on radio? 0707-242-6258 is still open for your involvement. Dr. Dominic Alancha is also here in the building. Just stick around with us. Let me pay these bills and we get back on the mic.
Are you looking for a property to buy in Abuja? Welcome to Vegas Homes, where land ownership is easy, fast, and reliable. All our estates come with FCDA building approval. Simply buy and build. Our prime estates are Vegas City View Resort, Maitama Extension, Vegas City of Light, Airport Road, Vegas Boulevard Hill City, Gusape 2, Vegas Residence, Maitama 2, Vegas Diplomatic Zone, Arab Road, Kubwa, and Vegas Resident at the Kuje Aerial Council. Visit us at Sud B23, 4th floor, OT Carpets, Wuse 2, Abuja, or call us on 081-2366-6654. Vegas Homes. Live in luxury.
Now, your luxury is something we don't negotiate for, and that's why when we come up here every Thursday, 10 to 11, we talk to you about Vegas Home. They are the sponsor of HallowMace on Radio. Grateful having them support what we do here. Once again, if you're just joining us, the program is HallowMace on Radio. It comes up here every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we had come up with conversation around the e-transmission of result, where it is in the burner today. Quite a number of people are talking about it, and we have with us Comrade Ezenwa Nwangwu. He is the Executive Director, Parker. And we also have with us Dr. Dominic Alancha. I'm trying to paraphrase because of my time and hoping that we're able to get the conversation going. Now, Dr. Dominic, you see, while we talk, one of the things that is coming to my mind is the conversation around democracy. Can democracy truly thrive? Because I'm looking at it when you are talking about reforms, and then some people are still having their selfish interest, because sometimes when you hear people talk, you feel it's not actually objectivity that they are trying to project for Nigerians. So talk to us. We don't always have you guys here. Can democracy truly thrive when critical reforms come with broad discretionary powers, and then we hear what you can give us? Because someone was making sense of what Comrade was just talking about before we went on that quick break. You look at the system and you're wondering, at what point can we have these things sanitized? Talk to us.
Well, to answer your question, yes, the democracy can thrive in Nigeria, and it's already thriving, in my opinion. Right. Because let's even look at what happened in the last few weeks. And that is to tell you that democracy is thriving. The National Assembly came up, and particularly the Senate, and they voted down, the electronic transmission. The people, cried out. And then the protests here and there, they reconvened, even when they were not supposed to reconvene, and then did the needful by, amending what they earlier passed to reflect what the people want. So democracy is about the will of the people. It's thriving, and it can thrive. But what I always tell people is that democracy is a work in progress. It's a gradual process. Some of these reforms cannot be, gotten overnight or in a sitting. different national assemblies will come with their own mandate and agenda. And then, the citizens' participation and role also, play a major role in advancing our democracy. So I think for me, democracy is thriving, and we should do more for it to thrive.
Okay. Now, Comrade, I'm loving your perspective on live radio, and for the longest experiences when we talk about elections in Nigeria, you've gathered all that we need to have. As everyone knows, the said experience is the best teacher. I don't know how you can communicate us as the citizens, because 2027 is in less than 325 days, and we go to another elections. And one would say, from some of this moment we've had with you today, we can certainly say that our electioneering process is not sanitized. What can we do to sincerely communicate the language of free, credible, and fair elections? Is it something attainable?
If your primary election is free, fair, and credible,
from the primary level,
yes, the political parties are the first election management body.
Very true.
They conduct elections. They conduct primaries. How well the primaries they conduct, and Dr. Alancha is here. Okay. How well does it pass through integrity tests?
Cousin,
that's another question.
No, you understand. So
very well.
If because at the end of the day, this person that the political parties throw up, INEC does not produce candidates.
Very true.
Political parties do.
Very well.
So when they bring those candidates, the quality of the politics, the quality of the election is determined by the nature and character and complexion of the political parties that we have. So as we talk electoral reform, let us also be talking political reform.
Okay.
In the next 2 months, I think March, April, we should go into party primaries. How much interest does it evoke? You understand what I'm saying? It does not evoke the kind of interest that we are seeing now. Even when we see delegates being bribed, we look the other way. But when we see vote buying in the secondary election, we start shouting. Meanwhile, delegates are being bought, and brazenly they show it. At the end of the day, after primaries, people will go to people's homes, beat them up, collect the cards they gave them, ask them to refund money, and those things diminish our electoral process. So I'm confident. So it's a stage-by-stage thing. Right. We have also made incremental progress in the quality of our election. Awesome. Let's not throw that. This same beaver today, yes, and I'm happy that the producer is here. These beavers, this IREF, that all of us are now invested in,
yes, course,
was introduced just in beavers.
Yeah.
Smart card leader 2015.
2015 and
2019. This progress has continued. Yeah. We are infusing technology gradually. Yes, and that is progress. The one we introduced in 2023 gave us the most diverse National Assembly since the return to democracy, where you have at least opposition political parties in the National Assembly. That Electoral Act 2022 gave us a situation in which we don't have the number of governors that we used to have in the Senate. 7 governors lost election to come to Senate in an election conducted by INEC. So progress, sometimes we so scratch ourselves that we scratch blood, and then in the course of wanting to change things, we become like people who went to take injection, whereas the disease for which you took injection has been taken care of, you now develop injection abscess. When we are discussing election, I like us to be cautious.
All right.
Because we are dealing with a lot. People don't like to hear that. But our election is like census. It's like census. Inside our election is tribalism, ethnicity, religion, everything. Our geopolitics manifests fully into our election. So it's not like going to the bank and doing POS that I hear people talk about. You know, if the POS, JAMB can do transfer. If JAMB can do it. You hear those kind of. Go and see the energy. The way politicians see technology is not the way you see it. The way they see number is not the way you see number. They put a lot of things on those issues. And so, for the voter in 2027, what we are looking for is sanctioning the behavior and misbehavior of the politicians, making sure that the security agencies are professional and neutral and impartial.
Very important.
Making sure that the media gives everybody level playing ground.
Awesome.
That the editorial policy does not bend to support opposition or position.
All right.
That voters themselves will not diminish themselves by selling their votes and later coming back to complain about bad governance. Everywhere election took place in the last off-cycle elections, the dominant conversation was vote buying. Who collects the money? The same people who are paid to go and vote are the same people who come to say they don't see good governance. So I just gave you a stakeholder mapping.
Yeah.
The INEC itself should immune itself from compromise by politicians.
Absolutely.
If we do that, even if we don't transfer electronically, we will get a good election.
I wish I could anchor there, but I think you might have a question to come through with on 0707 242 6258. The numbers again, 0707 242 6258. This goes on electronic transmission of results as passed by the Senate. And I have with us Comrade Ezenwa, who is the Executive Director, Parker. Also with us, Dr. Dominic, Alancha, Public Affairs Analyst. And one would say that we would wish that in the year 2027, we'll have an improved electioneering year. Someone says it should get better, by the way. 0707 242 6258 is the number for you to call and be part of this live radio broadcast. Critics argue that attaching conditions may weaken the reform and leave room for political interference. And now I'm thinking, hey, okay, somebody's here. Let's see if we can talk to you before Dr. Alancha comes on this one. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Oh, this is Peter from Nasarawa.
Peter, thank you for joining us. Go on, 60 seconds.
Please, what doctor is saying that they should not attach another option. The option should be an electronic of employment. Because we don't want a situation whereby they would use the other option to manipulate the results. We know that we are Nigeria. You too, you know them. We know what is going on. We don't want any option. Please, I need to add, even the one that said that we should not be putting more. Our result must be announced with this. It's a must. You cannot suffer to you under the sun, and you are telling them we should not put more. It's a must. Our result must reflect to the wishes of the people.
Okay, Peter.
You don't suffer anything. You get paid. You get paid to come and vote now.
Because, and should we make that an absolute statement? Because I feel that there
It's
are
an absolute statement.
Okay.
You don't know how much it pains me that is what our election has become.
Cousin, it's not healthy.
Our election is transactional. Don't make any pretense. Before the eve of election.
Better.
You see, that's why I was saying that it's not just about the electronic transmission that that defines the integrity of that election. So many things, you know, like you rightly said, this vote buying of a thing. What are we really doing about it? I understand what Comrade is really talking about, because I've been a partisan, a person. I've been a party agent. I've been, as a stakeholder in my party. We deliver the elections and stuff like that. And so many ways. Even rappers, even Maggie can buy people's election and stuff like that. And it's not about the competence. And these things, honestly speaking, attention should also go to the political parties. Okay. Now, the APC and other political parties, we are preparing for our ward congresses, local government congresses, national conventions, state congresses, and national conventions. And I can tell you what is going on. There is already in fight in some states. Structures have been hijacked by the governors. In some states, a crisis is brewing up and stuff like that. When the primary itself comes, look. I just returned from somewhere, and a complaint got people are already, positioned themselves to be among the 3 national delegates that will come for the national convention. Because there was rumor that they got dollars, they got this, they got that in the last national convention, jettisoning the idea of competence, quality, vision. People that can be able to account to the people, that can deliver on this good governance. So it's not just about this transmission. There are so much process that has to be, censored, for us to be able to get, the real credible election that Nigerians are expecting. But let me end by saying that it's a work in progress. Okay. You made a statement here about the quality of it has been progressive. Like Ezenwa rightly said, in 2015 the BVAS was introduced. We use it in 2019. In 2023 the IRF was introduced. 2027 the IRF will be used, and more reforms, more technology will be deployed. Maybe we should begin to drive, advocate for electronic voting, where you sit in your home and then you can cast your vote, and then anywhere you are, you cast your vote and stuff like that. So like I said, some of these reforms, they don't just happen overnight. We should begin to advocate for some of those things that will make it convenient for us to have electronic voting, electronic transmission of result, real time.
Right.
Because what we are talking about, for me, is not real time.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's just about the upload into an electronic device.
Yeah. Now, at this point, you would agree with me that Comrade Ezenwa is a stakeholder when it comes to Nigerian elections. So we would do well to allow him wrap up his thoughts by helping us make sense of 2027. You see, while you talked about vote buying, one would want to say, why are we? Because you look at the 4 years after which you have sold it for 1 Maggie or 10,000 naira, or a car was given to you, or a bike was given to you. I'm looking at it. What should we be talking to Nigerians to begin to understand the repercussions? I don't want to use the word, but it's sad. Realities that you could sell your vote, and you are the same people that will come and complain that the government is not doing well. So help us with your wealth of knowledge, and let's Nigerian learn something.
Well, thank you. I don't know if I have wealth of knowledge.
You do, cousin.
But what I do know is that I've invested time in understanding this process. What I've found in Nigeria is that when you are talking, people, as you are talking on radio now,
yes, cousin,
so he's not listening. He wants to say something. Rather than listen to what he said, processing what you are saying. It's democracy we are practicing.
Maximally.
We came from a military background where we have not civilized our language. Our language is still military. Must. You are dealing with interests. There are different interests contending. You bring in everything. You cannot say your interest must be. It cannot be. Your interest will support superior logic of argument, and even the one who has more power. So don't go. When we say don't use must, those must is the reason why there is so much conflict everywhere. Because people, even terrorists, are saying it is their own extremist ideology that everybody must. And if you don't, they kill you. So if we condemn that, in that side. And then we now use our mosques, that what we think. And let me tell you, I have said it on television, I have said it everywhere. Nigeria is not Abuja, Nigeria is not Kano, Nigeria is not Rivers State, Port Harcourt, Enugu. Nigeria is Kaura Namoda. Okay. Nigeria is Okitipupa.
Those are the
Nigeria is
Samia. Let my village be Guru. Okay.
In Eboyin. Nigeria is in Kasinala. All the pretense that we are doing in our Abuja where we live, this city where we live.
Yes, course.
Just move a bit. There are places in this Abuja for 2 days you will not get network. All this pretense to the is what is it what amazes me. You sit in your place where you have put Starlink and you have network. You think that is how it is everywhere. There are people who travel to do this bank out of 769 local governments and 6 FCT. Okay, 400 only are the ones that have banks.
In my local government, there is, from my village to a bank will cost you about 9,000 naira.
So you sit down and then you are discussing Nigeria and then you are saying must. You can't say must. You must first understand that there are people who don't have the privileges
that you have,
that we do have. And in making any argument, you must take in the interest of those people and harmonize it.
Very important.
Solution activism is important.
All right.
It is not about grandstanding. It's not about so that they can clap for me. If I can come here and say the Senate of the Federal Republic was not, it was everything they did was nonsense. When I live here, they say he gave it to them. When he came here, he gave it to them. What did I give to them?
Yes,
I have only promoted myself so that when you see me on the road, you say, you know him.
That's the activist.
That's the activist.
People's Comrade.
All that is over. Today is about Nigeria. It's about how to ensure that life is better for our people. And the only way life can be better for our people is if all of us put the mirror in our front. Me as a voter, how much have I enabled bad elections? Me as a security agent, how much have I enabled bad election? Me as an INEC official, how have I enabled bad election? Me as a political party leader, executive, how have I enabled bad election? If the reflection we see in our mirror challenges us, then change is possible. But if we continue to show that mirror to other people, we don't like to face the mirror on ourselves. We want the mirror to constantly face other people and then criticize how they look, how their nose looks on that mirror, then change will not come.
I heard that, and you did hear that too, cousin. I believe that we will have a better electioneering year 2027. Someone says democracy does not thrive on half measures. Trust in elections depends not just on laws passed, but on how transparent, independent, and accountable those laws truly are. But at this point, you would want to say more to it. You are vital. Let's begin to use our mirrors going forward. And I think if that is done, 2027 will be a reality where some of these reservations we have about the electioneering in Nigeria would have changed differently for good. I appreciate our guest on this edition of the program, Comrade Ezenwa Nwangwu and Dr. Dominic Alancha, for sharing your insights. Thank you so much for coming, cousins.
Thank you.
My producer, Ambassador Anderson Osebei, is also the executive producer of HallowMace on radio. Appreciate Mamsti too being part of the production. Thank you so much. Cousins, you call